Lorenzo, you and I have been around for a long time now, and so we've been using Google Analytics very extensively. There's a big shift now that's coming with Google Analytics 4, and both of us have to now go back to school and figure out how to use this new tool. I'm sure a lot of listeners of this video are in the same situation, so we can all learn together. But I want to talk about a report in Analytics GA3 that I've used extensively, and I have already used this report in Google Analytics 4, so I know it can be done. I don't can't tell you the steps of doing it because I can't remember the steps of doing it, but I have done this, so I know it can be done. But here's the report. What what happens in analytics is that most people, when they analyze their data, they are saying, how many people did my website get? And how many transactions did I get? What's my conversion rate? What's my mobile conversion rate? What's my desktop conversion rate? How is this changing over time? To me, this is not meaningful data because
Mhm.
let's use the analogy of a retail store. It's like the CEO of the retail Home Depot saying, I just want to know how many people walked into the Home Depot. And if the number of people that walked into Home Depot increase, then we're in a good position. That someone walking into a Home Depot is not a signal of sales. The signal of sales is someone who walked into Home Depot and spent 4 minutes in the store. The very, very few people will walk in and in 2 minutes make a purchase, unless if they are, again, there are always exceptions to the rule. The point I want to make over here is that what I do is when I first start analyzing data for a brand, the first thing I do is I identify the product page that I want to target. Then I identify a criteria that says people that came to this page and people that spent X amount of time on the website. Now, the default that I have used historically that I found quite useful is 2 minutes. Now,
Mhm.
depending on your business, if you are selling a home heating solution where it's a very complex sale, you might want to change that to 10 minutes. I don't know. Also, it's not based, I always set the filter criteria by user and not by visit or by session,
Yeah.
because there could be multiple sessions involved, right? But so the basic idea is you identify when you want to start tracking them. So in my case, I track them based on a very specific product page. For you, it could be something else, could be a landing page or whatever. And then the next criteria I'm putting in is I'm saying they need to have spent a certain amount of time. You can even filter out for people that spend, let's say, 10 minutes on the website, because that could signal that they left their tab open and you don't want to collect that nonsense data. So you can eliminate it, doesn't matter. But to me, what then happens is you've gone from a universe of this big to a universe that's this small. And you're really filtering out people that probabilistically speaking were not going to buy anyway. So really almost all of your sales are happening with people that are in this bucket anyway. And so by observing them, not only have I it's kind of like I've increased the concentration of
Mhm.
interesting data, and I've eliminated all the noise. And I think built creating this lens and then tracking this behavior over time. So, what is the impact of conversion rates amongst my engaged users over time is a much more interesting metric to follow versus saying what is the conversion rate for all of my users over time. So, I'll pause here for a second and see if Lorenzo has any thoughts.
Yeah, no, I just want to say that I love the offline analogy, and it reminds me of a lot of my own behavior. Let's say when I go to the mall, you know, if if I walk into a store just because it happened to be in front of me, while walking in the mall, I always like, okay, let's see what's up here, what they have. I literally walk in, stay there for like less than 10 seconds, and then like live just because I was just curious about it. But I wasn't like in a browser and sorry, I wasn't in a high intent purchasing mode. Other times, I've been to the store with the goal of buying something, and I would start interacting with the sales assistant there. Hey, can I try this? Oh, what do you think about myself with looking with this t-shirt? What about these pants? Can you give me like two completely different type of behaviors, right?
Exactly. and
So
and if you look at the cost of analyzing all of the data, it's much more than cost of analyzing just that small subset of data. The one thing I want to mention here, and the last thing I'll share here, is some of you are listening to this and saying, well, Rishi, I don't know how much time to put as my threshold or what page to focus on. So you're going to have to think about this. Think about your business. Think about the nature of the product you're selling. Think about what you think logically makes sense. Don't worry about whether we are saying 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes. These are immaterial things. The second thing I want to mention here is that many people come back to me and they say, Rishi, but I need to now communicate this with my developer. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to go about this. I don't know what the rules should be. And I have a very simple solution for that as well. Write it on a piece of paper. Imagine computers didn't exist and you were describing to someone what kind of data you wanted them to look at. Just write it down. Once you've written it down, you will get a lot more clarity. And then through that process, you'll be able to then send it to the developer and have them create the. So don't worry too much about the technical details. I always tell my developer that anything that I communicate with him, I want him to think about it from the perspective of what the business objective is. The technology is simply here to serve the business objective. So if he can convert every request I'm making into what the business goal is, and he can train his brain to understand what business goals are, then I don't need to have a discussion about what technological stack or process he's using for that outcome, because I don't care, right? If it's helping me get the business goal, that's what matters. So anyway, guys, I hope this helps. Leave us a comment. Tell us if you have any technical questions or challenges. If you have any thoughts, if you aren't subscribed, please subscribe, and we'll see you again. Take care.